So this is impossible on the globe. What are we looking at? I'll show you. We're looking at a shower, a globe, a map. The water apparently, let's do this. This was what I imagined in my mind. Okay, this is what I'm gonna endeavor to do for today. This is impossible on the globe. What are we looking at? Well, I've got a life-proof case on the phone. We were supposed to have rain happening. It will. Wow, it's a little foggy in here. Little condensation on the mirror. Wow. Look at that. It's all about the camera angle too. So how does this work? Well, for one, I need to get this globe out of here. Joni's going to be really upset. It's the mid-century modern, we're pretending to land on the moon globe. And yeah, I've got the Bible playing. I'm going to mute it for a moment. So what I wanted to show you is some of the impossible things. How much does a gallon of water weigh? Well, that depends on temperature. Temperature drives the whole hydrologic cycle, how things actually work in this world. So it's a really humid bathroom right now, and I know it's upside down. I'm wanting to turn people's world upside down. Do you really think NASA is going to say, yeah, we've got trillions of your dollars, we've been taxing you, and now we're going to give it all back? You really think that's going to happen? Do you really think any elected official is going to say, yeah, we've been lying about space the whole time and selling you a false reality, and yeah, we know you didn't come from monkeys. We know you're created by God, but you know what? We're fallen angels and demons inhabiting people, and basically we've been treating you as slaves your whole life in our whole existence. Do you really think they're going to come clean on any of that? Come on. This is the real world. I'm wanting to show you, well, actually an unreal world of this. How this actually looks right now is odd. It's maybe going to be hard for some of you to watch. I'm about ready to get in the car and drive upside down, apparently. Okay.
Now is the time for judgment on this world. Now the prince of this world will be driven out. But I, when I am lifted up from the earth, will draw all men to myself. He said this to show the kind of death he was going to die. The crowd spoke up. We have heard from the law.
When I get back later on today, Lord willing, do you think that all this moisture will be gone? Yeah. It'll be evaporated, and all the kitties will be here. That's how it looks at night. All that stuff is clean. The kitties are clean. I'm clean. Yeah. All of this is impossible on a globe. It absolutely could not work. Now it's sprinkling. Yeah, right on schedule. That's what I want. I want to, oh yeah, here's the shot. For me, stop the lying about the world we're living in. The water exposes the global lie. There's the symmetry of my messy garage, our messy garage, in the house that we live in. Do you really think rain could be falling upside down? Let's see how these show up here. I've got to be kind of careful of the, oh, look at, reduce surface tension on my waxed car. That must mean we're on a globe, right? No. It means I know how to clean up my car. That's a squeegee, and that's a clean surface. I need to do this so that I don't get my battery system wet. Where do I want to put it? So you can see it, and I can see what I'm doing. Okay, let's flip her around. That'll work for now. Yeah, the neighbors are probably wondering what in the heck's he doing now? How brave to be such a contrarian in today's society. My little Swedish friend PewDiePie. Is he Swedish? Nordic? I don't know. I don't know. Stop wasting my time, he says. Flat earthers. Yeah, okay. Does this work on a globe? In the mind of the deceived and the deceivers. What's up and what's down? Wow, there's like no observable airflow. So what I was able to do yesterday, and I'll whip it out right now. I'm gonna go ahead and make some bubbles right off the camera. I don't know what direction I'm gonna turn it. Could be exciting. Yeah, it all doesn't matter. It's not happening. Nobody's upside down in relationship to other people, right? I just have to get my proper view. The sun is approaching from this area, and I'll just put some lighted messy garage. Oh yeah, the mad scientist. Messy garage. I can find stuff that I need when I need it. That works for me. That's the organizational system I've got. I had to clean up the, oh, look at the hang time on that. Yeah. I've got a draw on my battery system, or the connection wasn't adequately allowing a transfer of charge consistently. So I cleaned the terminals. I had a broken terminal, a broken clamp to go on a terminal. Why does that matter? Well, I can have intermittent charging. Look at the hang time on this. Yeah, it's all upside down, right? All impossible on the globe. Okay, so here I am in the mirror of the bubble right there. Like maybe a firmament kind of thing. Yeah, that's largely, so I've got the camera, the iPhone 6 on a life-proof case. Do I want to leave my bubbles there? Do you think when I lift up the hood, the bubble's going to slide down? Probably. Or maybe not. Okay, so what I did is I cleaned up my terminals, put a new clamp on, and I've got a hot battery. Oh, look at that safety can. I've had that for about 35 years. I've fueled up people from coast to coast. Yeah. I carried a safety can with me in California, and on the 405 freeway, I filled up people's gas cans. You ever run out of fuel on the 405 in California? Well, I did once, and I thought, man, I need to get a safety can. So I did. I'm connecting it to the bike because I've got a high draw electrical usage with all my LED lighting. As long as I ground it somewhere, well, this will work right here. I'm completing the ground on that. I can confirm it with my small draw. It's all good. Yeah, this thing, there's no gas fumes around it. It's got an O-ring seal, but what happened is, oh, look at that garage. Isn't that a beautiful sight of an organizational masterpiece? Not so much. It'll be a continued part of my my routine. Let me grab a couple of things here. Oh, here's my my organic coconut oil container repurposed for my highly nutritious food, and there's more of it in the freezer. You know, sometimes I like a little strong coffee in our how would I say, the coffee cup of our marriage to commemorate. It's the Rothschild coffee cup. The Rothschild. I'm going to talk about the World Central Bank Ponzi scheme today. How about that? Have you heard it on the news yet? Have you heard about the biggest Ponzi scheme ever perpetrated on humanity, the World Central Bank system, on the news today? You probably won't, unless you're watching Eternal Perspective channel, right? I don't have a film crew chasing me around, obviously. It's not going to happen. Here's where I did the, it was featured, it was a featured video. Let's see if I can set it up reasonably good. You know, I could run a film crew. I could be a director. I am. I'm directing my own stuff. I have to. Who else is going to do it? Need a little more lighting. Oh, a little too much. Okay, so I was standing here in the kitchen somewhere around less than a year ago. And I basically said I was handing out invitations to the Flat Earth International Conference. Here, how about, can I stick that on the ceiling? Kinda? Yeah, let's do it like that. Will it kinda look like that? Kinda like that. Is it impossible on a globe? Is any of this possible on a globe? None of it. Rain falling, shower falling, water seeking its level. It's just what it does. Oh yeah, that was the sound of the bottom of the globe. So just I want to put this in today in this video right now in front of us. Regular cooktop stove, no green screen, no nothing, none of that's going on. How much does a bottle of water weigh? This bottle? Well, or what's the volume? Let's see. I need my gallon jug. My gallon jug is out in the car. I'm just going to leave it there for now. The volume changes with the temperature. It's what drives the whole hydrologic cycle. Do you think steam's going to come off? All the little bubbles. It's changing state. That's kind of interesting. Kind of an interesting dynamic. How about if we put oh wow, look at that. Can we reduce the surface tension by creating steam pressure? I would need more steam under there. Let me show you that because I think it's kind of cool. Okay, more water, more steam, more pressure under the dome, and look at it, rotates. I never did it before quite like this. I've seen it in my imagination moments before I did it. Okay, so that's happening. It drives the whole hydrologic cycle. Like I mentioned, sometimes I like coffee in my highly purified water. The dark background allows easier visibility of that evaporation. Huh, now what? How about if we take a ice cube that was made with the reverse osmosis water right there and put it on here? Do you think it'll change state from this frozen state? Absolutely. How about we do this? How about I put it in the jug here. Now she's floating. Yeah. And it's typically a pretty clear ice, the way that it forms. I'm trying to show you a little bit better. Let's, okay, now it's going to change state. No water was hurt in any of this exposition of reality. It's all impossible on a globe, right? Could that possibly happen on a globe? Could I be stuck to with my big hobbit feet? Oh, my grandma used to be, she would get upset when my dad would say, man, our sons have some wide feet. We've got to get them some special shoes. Yeah, do you think these big hobbit feet would be stuck upside down in another part of the world on a spinning ball? No, but I'll tell you what, I don't want it. Oh. Wow, what just happened there? Yeah, isn't that interesting? It's all repeatable. Let's show you there. Not so much. I can make it happen again, right? Watch. Little water. Yeah, you ever see that? It's the pressure of the steam. Man, in the Industrial Revolution, give them coal, give them wood, throw it in a steam engine and carry stuff all over the face of the world, the North America, the Indian reservations. Hey, what happens if the Indians get in the way and they don't want to move? Well, let's kill them, or the buffalo, or we'll give them blankets with smallpox on them, so there's fewer of them. If that doesn't work, maybe we'll take machine guns or whatever. We'll find a way. We'll find a way to whack them and stack them. That's the world we live in. I didn't do it. I just came here. How about slavery? Did I have anything to do with slavery? No, I'm wanting to set the slaves free. Are you one of them? Are you one of the slaves? I'm not. To them, I'm a slave to Christ. I obediently walk with him, much to the chagrin of those that would like to shut me up. They can't do it until it's time to go. Okay, so the temperature's set for 70. I'm going to set it for less than that. I'm going to set it for 65 right now. And then what I'm going to want to show you is water seeking its level outside our house. Molly, you're not going to want to be out here getting wet today. She's looking for food is what she wants. Impossible on a globe? Yeah, my messy backyard. Or a wind chime. Or the bird bath I'm gonna fix up. Or this wind chime. Do you think a bullfrog will jump out in the water? He likes to be about right there. Do you think he's chilling? Let's see if I can sneak up on him. Ouch. Hello. No bullfrog jumping, but it looks like some little sprinkles. Don't have the classic raindrops here. However, we got them, or the drops on the pine needles there. Do you think they'll fall? Yeah, a whole bunch of them. How about the pine needles? Yeah, they fall too. Basically, there's up and down is what it is. There's no spinning, wobbling, gyrating. Flat earthers, stop wasting my time, PewDiePie says. Flat earthers. Oh, how nice for us. All the flat earthers collected or gathered in one building. You think? You think that was all of us? People that love the truth, like me, and aren't afraid to live, die, or tell the truth, are going to do this, are going to expose the truth. You can share a video like mine. You can share one that's done a lot more professionally with a lot more forethought. Or you could tune into my channel, hit the notification bell so you can see when I'm going live. Because when it's going down, I'm going hot. I'm not kidding. I'll go live no matter what's going on if I'm able. Do you think some pretty freaky stuff's going to happen? I know it is. Where will I be to see it? I don't know. It's going to take a while for that water to drip out of there. It will. It's like 73 degrees out right now. Yeah, I didn't forget my squeegee. Water seeking its level. What kind of water? Water that came out of the atmosphere. What was in it? I wouldn't necessarily want to drink the rainwater. It's not clean like it used to be. They're putting chemicals. We're looking at synthetic skies. All of them worldwide. There's lower and higher concentration of whatever they're putting in the atmosphere. There's the stop sign right there. Stop. Stop it. Well, let's do that again. Stop it. Stop the lying. They're not going to stop lying. Really? You think they would? You think they would admit that they've been ripping off humanity, enslaving them, and helping them, causing them, forcing them to pay for their enslavement? Do you think that's going to happen? No. No, they're not going to do that. So what am I going to do? I'm blowing the whistle on it. I'm a whistleblower. I got my new hat. I don't know how much I'm going to wear it. I needed a darker color for videography. It's really lightweight, and I like it. I can just pack it up in the bike. Talked about the bike before. A couple of big gyroscopes on the wheels. The wheels are like gyroscopes. In here, we'll be able to see the lighting a little bit better on the chrome. Watch what happens. It's a lot of light on there. I want to see blinkers. We got blinkers happening. Yeah, that's what'll happen when I... Oh, you know what? Let's do this. I can do it a little bit more effectively. Oh yeah, Robert, would you close the garage door? The neighbors are looking. Yeah, how about that? How about that? The neighbors are looking at the garage. How about this? How about I turn this bulb out? Okay, I disconnected the grounding of it. That's what it is. It's disconnecting the ground. Yeah. How about that? I'm doing a pan. Can you tell? Not so much. See the contrasting and the way the lighting all works. Opening up the attic door creates a vacuum on the garage, right? Check this out. One more. That's enough. Uh-oh. How in the heck am I going to get out of here? Well, I pretty much know the path. Ouch. Yeah. So what I wanted to do is just kind of show you how that actually looks with a darker color or less lighting. It served a purpose. I'm almost where I need to be. Let there be light, right? So God said, let there be light. Oh, there's our super efficient equine pellets for all the cat maintenance. It works excellent. Water seeking its level. You can have a little container like this next to your sink and use highly purified water like I do if you want. It doesn't pour upside down anywhere in the world. The reverse osmosis system that's there, it works awesome, taking the chemicals and all of that out of it. All right, it's showtime, baby. Yep. Here's my Ninja. Let me just show you what this looks like when I fire this baby up. Let's add a little light to the equation. When I do the big routine, I use this and turns the spinach, kale, hemp hearts, broccoli all into a powder. Then I put it in a rather thick, without much moisture in it, in a container like this. I'll reconstitute some of it. It's time to thaw this now. It's really hard. If you want to see, does water expand when it gets cold, really cold? Yeah. If you put, if I take this glass jug with this purified water and put it in the freezer, it'll crack it for sure. And that's how the ice floats, is that the way it's designed, the way God made it. Yeah, we've got a little food in there. What happens when the power goes off? Well, I'll be doing some cooking and eating and having some, well, I might be going hungry. You go hungry, right? Are you hungry now? See, I put my Bible.com stuff. I'm going to be rolling out an Eternal Perspective shirt and a combination with Bible.com and Eternal Perspective on one shirt. And then the way that that's going to work out is I will actually have car magnets with the YouTube Eternal Perspective. The bananas, once they ripen up enough, I peel them and throw them in the freezer. That works awesome. And then there will be fewer gnats around. Yeah, the gnats come from the bananas sometimes, I reckon. Reckon? My dad would say, reckon? Where are you from? I don't need to water the stuff. God took care of that last night. The God that created this whole life experience. These are gardenias. And they are absolutely wonderfully fragrant. How much rain did we get last night? Well, not exactly the depth of that because, well, let's see how long it takes to settle out. That's pretty quick. It has a bigger catch, a radius on the bottom, so it's going to magnify the depth. You would need to have a perfectly flat container to check that out. To take that to another level, show it a little bit differently, would be to go over here to this one, because it's a bigger surface area, and this could also be used as a water distiller, right? Oh yeah, I could put that glass top on top of it and take salt water and evaporate it if I need to, or the water from and back there. I've been thinking about this for a while. It's impossible on a globe. All right. Do you think we've got condensate coming from the atmosphere in the house yet? Where is my finger in there? There it is. That little drop of water came off of there. It's all driven by temperature differential. All right, South Carolina public schools are getting loaded up, they're getting moved out, they're going to get indoctrinated into a false reality. That's how that works. And they're live on YouTube. See, there's a certain element of curiosity that goes on. So there was the bus driver, of course. He's probably wondering what in the heck kind of Fruit Loop is there. That's okay. He still might go to Bible.com. You can't help but miss that's what this is about. I'm a biblical creationist. I'm unapologetically biblical in the truth movements, exposing not only the deception of the governments, the fallen angel deception in the spiritual realm as well. Hey, let's come up with your own God, a God of your own making, so you get to do what you want to do. How about that? How about we pick some kind of smorgasbord that you can walk down? I'll take a little of this and a little of that. Well, that's not the God that I serve or that lives in and through me. You see, I thought I was born again over 30 years ago until I actually was on Reformation Day of 2014, as best I can tell. Yeah. So I'm going to be taking us out to the Coastal Preserve. Just need to lock her down and set the temperature a little bit more appropriately. So it didn't even drop 1 degree. It takes a lot of time to do that, to change the temperature in the environment. So like when I open up all the windows in the house for a few minutes, and then I'll even use the blower, the lithium blower, to move the air around when it's a little bit calm. I can do that. I can do that. Yeah, Frank's not in there right now. Frank's in the other room, actually. We can see a little condensation on the windows. That'll go away as the temperature rises. We have a scale right here, so Frank can't lock himself in the bathroom. Frank does that. I talked about Frank. I'm gonna show you him again. He's absolutely adorable. He does the darndest stuff. He'll lock himself in the bathroom. Well, we can't have that. He doesn't know how to lift up the lid and use that yet. Oh, great opportunity for this. Impossible on a globe. There's multiple ways to show airflow. I talked about some different ones and shown you with the bubbles. This is not only a cooler, it's a warmer. If I put warm products in there, warm water, sometimes I'll do that. I'll put warm water in there when the ambient temperature outside is, you know, like warmer than the temperature inside. My lens of my camera turns into a condensator, and I fogged the lens yesterday on the camera. You can see that if you care to. All right. Oh, my shoes got a little wet. I didn't get them in last night. They'll be just fine, right? Now this water will end up having chlorine and sodium fluoride in it, and a lot of sodium because the water table here is really high, meaning the water from the ocean and the hydrostatic pressure means that the well water here, or the water level in the ground, is really close to the surface of the ground. Okay, where we lived in Hortonville, Wisconsin, our well was over 300 feet deep. 300 feet deep. Where we lived in the little farm in Fremont, it was actually Reed Field. That was the picturesque country farm. Looked like an Amish farm. It was, you know, like over 100 years old. Well, there the water table was, we had well water at 30 feet. So I had the bucket that's a PVC tube with a one-way valve on each end, and I could pull fresh drinking water out of the well casing with my own hands if I needed to. Remember, Y2K, we thought it might get really cold. We had enough winter clothes, we could have probably stayed warm enough, and I had probably over 80 face cords of wood. I spent a lot of time chopping firewood. Okay, so here's the water jug, and I wanted to show you the blower and what can it do. A gas blower this time of the day would be really unpopular, right? You know, high-speed travel will get that water off. Because of the slipstream of the vehicle, this water, it'll be hard to get that out, but that isn't exactly all of what I wanted to show you. I wanted to illustrate that a blower like this can actually be used indoors. I'm going to show you airflow in the shower. Is it a shower? Well, it's a storage area too for some stuff. Watch this. It's simply aerodynamics. That's what that is. And yeah, little extra water, little extra paper towel, why not? When our sons come to visit, that'll be all cleaned out. Yeah, that's all good. I have it that way because it's a lot of heavy stuff and I've got to clean the garage, right? It'll be all organized. My dad, this would have freaked my dad out. The disorganization that I have right now in the garage. He was a bit more OCD, and I don't believe born again. Okay, so he would have an outline for a saw on the pegboard in each screwdriver and all of that. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, I could do that. I'm not going to. I've got a pegboard. It won't have everything like that. I've got a different way of organizing. I wanted to show you part of the setup for in here when I choose to set up out on the beach I could do that right now. Early in the morning, I could set things up. Here's a couple of nice chairs, reflectivebible.com logo. These are reclining chairs. That's an aluminum dolly with pressure Zerk fittings, they're called. It's got waterproof grease in the wheels, and it works great to transport heavy stuff. I could move a refrigerator or my beach stuff out there. Or I could put the leaf or the blower. You know, some say they're a leaf blower. They're multi-purposed. The weight of the water on the hood makes it want to close much easier. That's just what it does. Oh yeah. Can ride a motorcycle with the wind blowing in the face and all of that. I think I'm I'm all locked up, closed up, buttoned up. I'm heading out, taking us for a ride in. Ah yes, the fragrance of gardenia, the fragrance of freedom. I was enslaved. I was a slave. What was I a slave to? I was a slave to sin. I was not born again, and I didn't want to live, and I was an absolute mess. How about that? And some might say, well, Robert, you're still a mess now. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm loving life, exposing the truth, and people are going to do whatever they want with that or whatever they can. I'm not responsible for what you or they do, whoever they are. Obviously, all of our data is track, trace, data-based. Whoop. You know what a gardenia smells like? Kind of like a magnolia. I added Miracle-Gro on those, and they really helped them. The leaves don't look so good, but it sure bloomed pretty nice. Plenty of power now, and if the so for example, this device right here works to jumpstart even a big diesel engine. Okay. And I don't have it connected right now to my power system. I'm gonna check it for just a moment. When the car is running, in this, okay, yeah, my cord is kind of hung up here. I've got to move it a little bit. That blue light means that there's power going to it. This right here is chargeable with a micro USB, and I've got all the lights on, meaning I've got a full charge. I'm going to disconnect it now. Now, whatever draw is on my automotive system, this whole big thing of electricity, potentially, you know, when you connect the positive to the negative, bam, you get a short circuit. Where I want the spark to happen is in the combustion chamber. After there's an intake of oxygen, a compression, and then an explosion, and then it moves the crankshaft and expels the exhaust. You can do that with water. Stanley Meyer created a water-powered car, water-powered engine. He's on my liked video playlist. I believe he is a brother in Christ, and they killed him for that, not selling that technology. Those bastards. That's what we're dealing with. Bastards. Actually, like the fallen angel, demon type people that are so selfish. It's not that they killed a man only. It's more than that. Way more than that. They took the technology to provide virtually free energy to the world. They did it with Tesla in a different way. You know, his demise was a bit different. a creative genius that brought us modern electrical generation, power generation, and distribution. Look him up. He's on my video channel. You can see him. Nikola Tesla. Do you know of him? Water goes out, air goes in, right? Water seeking its level. Can I drink upside down, PewDiePie? Oh yeah, I've got an esophagus and I'm fearfully wonderfully made. It doesn't prove we don't live on a globe. What's impossible on a globe is to live on one. Oh, my God's big enough to cause that to happen. That's what my wife Joni says. Well, the God of the globe is Satan. I tell her that. She won't look at the Bible or she won't look at it with me and allow me to show her all the biblical creation verses that make a globe absolutely ridiculous in comparison to the biblical creation. Okay, let's flip this around. I got some water on the windshield. What am I going to do? What's going to happen with that? I'll show you. Now I've got the board in the driveway. That's impossible on the globe. The board from the, oh, we can't see it so good. Yeah, we can see it better now. That board right there is going to allow the little Mini Cooper Mini to not damage the air dam on the front, the ground effects. Because it just fills in the low spot. Now the water fills in the low spot, but the tire would move the water out of the way. So filling that curb up with a little water won't work. It's not solid. However, when it gets really cold, it'll freeze. Like I showed you the ice earlier. The temperature drives the whole water cycle of the world. Totally. So when water gets cold enough, it freezes. It gets hard enough and solid enough that you can drive it on lakes. Drive a vehicle on a lake. There's our little neighborhood pond. The pump isn't running yet for the fountain. It will later. They'll do that later. So this building that I showed with the concrete being poured, concrete seeking its level, Stow and Go is the facility to provide excellent climate controlled storage. Of course, they can't do that right now because it doesn't have the roof on yet. I'm not going to trespass. I'm going to see what I can show you. I can see a lot of light and water inside the building right now and stuff. You know, they'll get it all cleaned up and then there'll be insulation that's all been added, looks like, on the inside. See the light color plastic through the door on the other side? That's all containing an insulation, a barrier to cause that temperature differential to not happen in the wall space. Building construction has developed so sufficiently that you know, that's going to stop mold from developing in the wall. Theoretically, that's the way it's supposed to work. I got to show you something because I'm talking building construction and I think I can put my hands on it. It's a closed cell expanded polystyrene with a wire reinforced grid inside it. It's called a 3D panel. That construction of this facility could have happened in a couple of days. They'll work on it for weeks and weeks and weeks. The 3D panel construction is absolutely amazing. It's a fortified building. A building made out of that there it would handle over 300-mile-an-hour winds, I'm sure, because the internal structure of a storage unit has a lot of walls in it. It would be extremely heavy. Concrete seeks its level when it's liquid, and once it's broken up, it'll fall at free fall speed right in downtown New York. Steel concrete, yeah, it'll do that on a worldwide broadcast. Let's freak out the whole world and go to war with Muslim countries and kill a bunch of people under the false pretense for war, chasing after a boogeyman who actually worked with the CIA. He was an asset. They use everybody they can. Satan uses who and what he can. I'm talking about September 11th, 2001. Those bastards. How can a concrete steel reinforced building fall at free fall speed in downtown New York, Manhattan, like that? Well, something got all that stuff out of the way. There was sure a whole lot of dust. I busted up concrete with a sledgehammer and a jackhammer, moved it with a wheelbarrow. Man, they moved it with something. What the heck was that? Yeah, it wasn't right. I can tell you that right now. I know it looks ugly. The garage, that is. Can you see it? Can you see my messy garage? Well, let's level that out. I'll be back. I hope you enjoyed the comic relief. So what actually happened was my foot caught a loop of a handbag that was there for our cleaning products. Okay, so this is the foam core. What happens is there's a very expensive machine. I believe it comes out of Germany or Sweden, maybe. And the wire is fed through a system, a very big machine. It's about $1 million machine, I believe. And then the wire goes through at opposing angles and is welded, and it happens really fast. So they use a machine to put the insulation here, the structural reinforcement with the metal here, and then when it gets on the job site, anywhere from 1 inch to 3 inches of concrete can go on each side of this. And you can make concrete really strong depending on the slump and the mix of the ratio of cement, and you can slow down the dry time so it cures in a way that it's a lot stronger. For those of you who know concrete, You know what I'm talking about. The guy that owns the building, he knows. He said, wow, you sound like you know a little bit about concrete. I said, yeah, the slab looks nice and level. They used a laser level screed system. It was about $100,000 system to make that slab level. That company does that for Dollar General is one of their major corporate accounts. See, this type of construction is very fast, efficient, energy efficient. If our home were made out of this kind of material, our energy bill would be less than half of what it is right now. So I'll just keep this as an example of that. You might know what you like. Traeger Tro says, you might be a complete moron, but you're looking good doing it. You look like you know. Look at that coat. You look like you know what you're talking about. I do. I absolutely do. I've got a memory that helps me remember things really well. And it's not just the remembering that's a big deal. It's the retrieval appropriately to integrate it into a message that maybe some people will get and understand. One of the deals is, as wonderful as the fragrance of the cinnamon is for my body cleansing, the baking soda, cinnamon combination water exfoliating gloves, there's a little particulate with the cinnamon. I could run it through a coffee filter so that's gone. I may do that when I go to pour it on me. But here's the deal. I had a little particle of cinnamon in the eye. How am I going to get that out? Well, I used my bottle of purified water. Oh, this is going to be excellent. So I poured it in my eye, flushed it out. This will be for PewDiePie. Pay attention. How's this possible? You like that? Could save somebody's eyeball. Let me show you again. How's that? What's going on with that? Well, my dad told me, he was like 19 years old or so. It's before I was conceived. I was conceived in the mind of God before the foundation of the world. So I used water seeking its level in the shower. I'm gonna show you. I'll show you with the background right here. Okay, that worked for me. I couldn't squirt water out of my mouth and into my eyeball. It just doesn't work. I could use maybe a tube to do it. I could use a flexible silicone straw to do it. We've got them in the house. I can improvise on the fly. Can you? You might find it interesting to see what the heck I'm going to talk about. I'm not kidding. Sometimes I go live to see what I believe God wants me to share with you, my audience. Who is my audience? Well, I'm schooling the artificial intelligence. Thanks, Robert. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I am. We all are. So the artificial intelligence takes a look at people like me and you and everybody, all of humanity. I walk into the Dollar General. The AI sees everybody that walks in there. It's a facial recognition system that's all wired together. This whole world system is. It's the mark of the beast system. If I go to the Tanger outlet Walmart and I use the credit only terminal that has facial recognition video, it shows you on the monitor. It showed me on the monitor. It's my Mark of the Beast video. Not that it's the complete Mark of the Beast system and expose. It's just that they installed those systems the day before I got there. Yeah. That green light means that my system is still charging. This is also an audio check. I've got the life-proof case on the iPhone 6s, and when I close the port on it, I get I get time for charging that's or I get to run for about an hour and 5 minutes more. That may be important to know. I've got a helmet that I would wear with goggles if we get 100 and some mile an hour winds in a hurricane. I've got this car now that I can use during hurricane season. Do you think I'll go live somewhere, like from a parking structure? I could do that. I probably will. I could be a storm chaser chasing around the country, or I could just wait for the storm to come here or close to here. That means that the stored energy that's in the battery was able to activate the starter motor and rotate the engine to create compression in the cylinders and combustion and exhaust, all of that. Did you hear the car go through the puddle? I did. The clues are all around. This has got a climate control system. While this engine is running, it's rotating a compressor that changes the temperature in the air conditioning system sufficiently that it'll cool down the atmosphere in the car, remove the moisture. I can just use the digital control system and set the temperature I want, and it takes care of all of it. It's pretty nice. This is a mobile broadcast studio. Since I'm talking about that, I want to flip it around and show you and present it in a, you know, it looks a little messy, but I've got I have to move my my suction cup location up here for when the sun is gonna heat up the lens and the camera too much. It's not the lens that's a big deal, it'll just overheat the phone. Okay, so as per usual, I wave to the neighbors. A lot of them wave first. When I'm out here getting the car all cleaned up, it's getting my routine where I'm not just it's the front porch of this time of life in human history. Where are all the front porches with the people sitting out on them? It doesn't happen anymore, much of anywhere in the world. Here, I should say, in this area. It may happen in other areas, classic architecture, and maybe in Charleston. Oh yeah, Charleston, South Carolina, beautiful area, people sitting on porches sometimes. But anyway, the mobile broadcast studio. So in a little bit, probably within a week, I can convert it in a moment to a eternal perspective only, YouTube eternal perspective. And then I have the magnets so I can have both Bible.com and eternal perspective. I'll probably put YouTube eternal perspective here and Bible.com there. And I can take all those off in a moment if I need to. So rather than the big flag on the vehicle, I just have this. It's nice and tight and clean and doesn't look anything like a circus as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so today is turning out a bit different than I expected it to. Right now there's a very high percentage of rain estimated, and it looks pretty dark over there. This is the ocean 7 miles away or so. The sun was approaching from that vantage point now. In the winter months, it's over here and does that. I'll get myself out of the road here. in the summer months, it comes up way down there and does that. And in the winter months, it comes up over here and does that. Hence the reference to you didn't feel yourself spinning, wobbling, or gyrating. You see, because not only does the sun run a different course above the face of the earth, so does the moon. And a uniform rotation of a globe doesn't answer the movements observed by the sun and the moon, or their duration of visibility between one another. That's one of the other things. I've got a tidal app that I use. It's called Tides Near Me. So I have said that this is my favorite weapon of mass instruction. Well, I don't have to have a favorite. I like using it. This is a new camera. I don't know if they're going to replace the other one. I had to epoxy a reinforced pad on the bottom. I'll show you what I did. No, it's too hard to reach. It's the foot for my tripod connector. I had to fasten it with epoxy on the bottom of the camera, and there's a serial number there. And I knew that they were going to say, hey, we can't see that that's the camera you bought. We're not going to service it. What I did is I peeled it off, because once the epoxy goes on, that's that. Okay, it's harder than concrete, harder than steel. JB Quick Weld. I get a 6-minute cure time. So I was able to put that on there and reinforce the bottom. The bottom of the camera is the weak spot on the P900. Here's what happened. A crack started. It was getting ready to fall off. I got the notification a bit before that they discontinued this camera. There's no way I was going to send this that camera in knowing I might never get it back, or that they wouldn't be able to repair it and say, we junked it out, we discontinued that camera, blah, blah, blah. So what I did was I epoxied the bottom on here, and this right now is about camera number 7 that I bought. If you look at my photo album, look at my digital stream, you can see I'm busy. I do a lot of stuff around the clock, and it's okay. I'm fine with it. I'm not all tired and haggard and feeling sorry for myself at all. I enjoy what I get to do. Okay, all that being said, they didn't service the camera. They sent it back. I talked to Max. I'm not upset with Max. He said they didn't repair it because they couldn't see the serial number. What I did do is I took the serial number, peeled it off, and stuck it to my owner's manual and sent that with it, explained the situation with them, and Max is going to try representing it to them to see if they'll do it. The problem with the camera is that it developed a problem with the focus, because I dropped the camera. I had it in my motorcycle tank bag, and when I picked up the handle, the compartment wasn't zipped up appropriately and the camera fell out, and then it would not focus on the moon the way that it normally would. Well, what good is that for me? So I needed to buy one. another one. So I did, and I'll just deal with it. I'll pay for it if I have to. It's got the 3-year warranty on it. That's damage or product failure. So part of this, what I want to do, maybe it would be easier to look at me not upside down. I don't know. I'm going to leave it this way, I think, for now. I'm going to keep doing this. I had a new subscriber. It may have been the telemarketer that tried to present to me what he said was a money-saving opportunity on my interest rates, a 0 interest rate, and then he, right at the end, he said there's only a one-time fee of $990 to get this card. I said, it's not 0 interest now, is it? And we went around and around. I said, he kept on trying to cost justify it by saying, I'll save you thousands of dollars. I said, what I want you to understand is with the plan that I have, I will pay off all my debt before there's even 1 penny of interest assessed to that. I'm using their money. Well, what is the money actually? What is it? What is it? Let me see if I've got it on me. Yeah, I better. I'm driving a car. Not that I need my credit card to drive a car, but I certainly need my my driver's license, which I've got. But you see, this has a chip in it. You got the chip? Got the chip? Got the chip? Have you heard it lately? Yeah. The cards have chips now. Even my bank card has a chip. Is it money? Well, it's the ability to participate in commerce worldwide. From what I understand, a time is coming, the Mark of the Beast system, Revelation 13, when people will not be able to buy or sell without the Mark of the Beast. Is it the chip? Could be. Eternal perspective or eternal perspective. Yeah. It's kind of how it works. I mean, it's easy for me to turn the card upside down, right? You can call me anytime. That's why I do that. I present that because I believe it's a big deal. I kind of hurt my toe. I actually got a bruise. It's a little bit puffed up. Yeah, it was kind of funny because the way that it was situated, was it an accident? No, it was the carrying bag for the cleaning products that we use in our commercial cleaning business. And what ended up happening was one of the handle loops was in the walkway. Well, it was a runway for me. You saw me make a run for it. Well, my toe got caught and I tripped, and it looked a little bit funny. Even in the messy garage, I was able to put my hands on something pretty random, but kind of a big deal. Why is it a big deal? Oh, I'm gonna back up for just a second too. I mentioned the worldwide Ponzi scheme, the Rothschild pattern cup. I didn't even know about the Rothschilds when we picked out our wedding pattern for the China, which is another story. When we got our China from my parents went to Marshall Fields and got the China for us and sent it to California, or did they? Well, here's what happened. My mom said, "Did you get the China?" I said, "Well, Mom, it wasn't our pattern." She said, "What do you mean?" She said, we got your Noritake Rothschild and sent to you. I said, "Well, it was Mikasa stoneware. You know, it was a fraction of the cost." I suspect either it was an honest mistake, an honest mistake by the shipping department, or some creative individuals that decided, we've got a purchaser and a sender, and they're not going to talk about it. They're just going to thank them. And so somebody could have been trying to pocket about $1,000 worth of differential in cost. I don't know. But anyway, I said, Mom, it's Mikasa Stoneware. She said, really? So they got it all taken care of. It's just kind of funny how that works. Does it matter? Does any of it matter? Well, I wasn't afraid to tell the truth. That's part of what happened with that. Now, what happened 3.5 years ago or so, God gave me a love for the truth more than anything else, and His Holy Spirit concurrently with that. So what essentially happened when I was presented the reality that the biblical creation is not a globe, and I started looking for the curve, not only couldn't I find the curve, I found that I couldn't find a lot of honesty in the world communication system, the major corporate controlled media system. So here's the thing. I understand I've got a limited audience. There may be only a few people that really like what I do, if that, maybe more, hopefully a lot more. What has happened, and you can see it on my liked video playlist, the corporate controlled media, PewDiePie, I understand, is with Warner Brothers, a rather big corporation that presents a whole lot of digital distraction and deception, I believe, a false reality. They're part of it because he's promoting part of that false reality in making flat earthers sound like uneducated, stupid people. Simpletons. Hey, he's a simpleton. Yeah, right. I could intellectually joust with anybody in the world. Oh, really, Robert? Well, it's not just me. It's not me. It's God living in and through me. He put pre-placed proclivities, I like to mess with the words, in me a long time ago. So when I was reading the dictionary, encyclopedia in grade school while other kids were goofing off, I was wanting to know how the words actually, what the words meant and how they fit together. And even if I give a Billy Bob question like, is the earth really flat? If I Google that, the artificial intelligence knows it's Robert J. Forsch, unless I tried to go somewhere on somebody else's device. Like if I went to a coffee shop and I said, hey, could I check something on your computer? I left mine at home. Oh yeah, sure. Well, they would think they were searching it, maybe. Or maybe the camera can say, that's Robert just on somebody else's computer. Yeah, can they do that? Can it do that? Probably. This little, I could use a paper clip, or I could use this little device right here. What is that? It's a SIM card tool, and I could change the SIM card on the phone. Let me let that stop. I could change the SIM card on the phone if I wanted to. Why would I need to do that? You ever see like Die Hard or The Bourne Identity, Jason Bourne in The Bourne Identity? I remember him doing that. I remember the stairwell or something he was in. He was running and he jammed it in there, changed the card, and wow, he's on somebody else's phone or something. It's all kind of weird. So this is my iPod Touch. I like the iOS. I'm an Apple guy. You know, where is Steve Jobs? I don't know. Did he get uploaded? Is he saying, yeah, there's Robert again. Look at what he's doing with my stuff. Yeah, I'm doing that. It says I got a software update. I'm not going to do that now. Close. Okay. I want to see, right now, I'm on the driveway, obviously. Maybe you can't see so good. You know what? I think it's the camera angle. How about now? See, I've got the plastic cover on the phone, so you're not gonna see some of the detail. But I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go live in the rain. I can get wet. I can shut the phone up, and I'm good. So with this device right here, I can go on our internet in the house. I've got the code. I've got access. There's a lot of other cellular or a lot of other wireless signals available. We're being bathed in like electro smog, they say. There's microwave type communication systems all over the place. A magnetron, a cell tower, a water tower that's a cell tower. What does that do to the molecular structure of the water? I'm convinced it's not good. I don't want my healthy food around the microwave that Joni won't stop using. I don't even like to have, so some people press their face up against the glass watching the popcorn popping, the plastic popcorn, the nasty stuff on the popcorn with their head close to that magnetron. Is that a good idea? I don't think so. You won't find me doing it. I'll use coconut oil and an electric cooktop and Cuisinart popper, the cooker. I'll use that because it's got a thick bottom and it distributes the heat evenly, and the popcorn oil actually cleanses out my digestive tract as well as the fiber of the popcorn. Okay, so I'm going to bounce to this for a little bit. No matter how healthy this nutrient is in here, if I'm all caked up, clogged up in my gastrointestinal digestive tract, I'm not going to assimilate the nutrients that I spent a lot of time and money to get this and created it in my kitchen. I just put it together. I don't grow broccoli and spinach and kale on our property right now. I tried growing some stuff here. I tried growing marijuana in the attic. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. Hey, what you smoking, man? I'm not smoking anything. I've had people make fun of me for being a little too happy. Now that's the AE map. Does that actually look like what we live on? I don't know. It's the flat earth map. I'm not promoting it necessarily. I'm not a cartographer. I can't, that's our neighbor with her new vehicle. Yeah, it was kind of funny. They'll probably never see this. My friend Earl he had a back pain. He got on opiates. He wanted to get off of them. And I heard this sound. I was in the garage and I heard the sound of a sander. And I walked out and here's Earl sanding car scratches off of his older vehicle. It was a newer vehicle, but it's his other vehicle. And I thought, man, does Jennifer know what you're doing, Earl? And he really cobbled it up bad. But he called me a while ago and he said, I know you were on drugs and you got off of drugs. I wanted to know if you could help me with that. And I said, yeah, I'll help you with that. And we talked, and I think he's good now. He's not doing any more body work on the driveway. I'll tell you what, when I used marijuana, I did some of the stupidest stuff. Okay, so I'm not on a prohibition campaign. I'm just simply saying, man, what was ever in that weed and what it did to me was not good for the old processor, not good for the old frontal lobe CEO of the decision maker for me. Boy, I can cover a lot of topics, huh? Oh, that's manic. Let's drug them. No, they can use their pharmacological treatments for my bipolar for suppositories. I don't actually believe I have need for any pharmaceutical modification of my perspective. What I believe has happened is I can sufficiently operate in society without harming myself or others, and I do it because I'm born again, born of God's Spirit, walking obediently with Him, and giving my body the proper nutrients and keeping the toxins out of my body, off of my body, out of my brain. What in the heck was I doing anyway? Oh yeah. Not like I forgot, really. So right now it's, according to this, 71 degrees outside. 8 a.m. we've got a 50% of rain. 9 a.m. 70. 10 p.m. a 90% chance of rain. That's the highest percent that it gets all day, is 90% at 10 o'clock. We live in basically a perpetual now. I was looking for the rain. I still am going to take us for a drive and go to the coastal preserve. I might be limping a little bit. I stumped my toe. It's a little bit swelled up. Yeah. I'm not going to be rubbing it too hard either. What I did is I massaged it a little bit. I think I need to do that a little bit more. Gently. Moving some of the fluid around. There's not only blood there, there's a lymphatic system that moves liquid around the body. Ah, that feels really good. Yeah, I think I had a little bit too much pressure built up because of that irritation. So I had a doctor that was talking about the pain management, and he said pain management is a bit of a mystery. And I'll tell you what I've determined for me personally: if I get an owie, I'll rub it a little bit. I'll send the brain some different messages. Ah, that doesn't hurt. That feels kind of good. It kind of works that way, but it's more than that. It actually moves some of the liquid around that can cause pressure against nerves and sensors that register pain. Now I'm just sending a little bit of pleasure to it. Ah, it sounds kind of weird, Robert. I'm just rubbing my stump toe. That's what happened. I caught it around a loop and it pulled it to the side. Okay, so here's the Tides Near Me. Yep, showing up. Tides Near Me is a worldwide app that shows tidal activity worldwide. It's not updating. It says I'm connected. Or am I? So the connectivity in this world can be a big deal. The connectivity on my battery, I have the car running right now because I want to maintain the climate control. Otherwise the windows would all fog up. My respiration and the temperature differential between inside and outside, we would see the windows fog up. Right? You ever go through a Walmart parking lot and see people parked on the outside edge of the parking lot and the windows are all fogged up? There's somebody in that car, or a dog or something, probably a person. Walmart allows car camping. Yeah, as far as I know. I was going to live in a car and smoke pot in California or Colorado or some other legal state. I thought that that was a good deal. That was my pot smoking thinking. Yep, I'll just relocate to a legal state and smoke pot and live in a car. How do you think that would work? I got a much nicer deal here. What Jesus helped me to realize is to get off of the pharmaceuticals that are driving the addiction to the marijuana, because the dopamine blocker I was on is called Geodon. Oh, by the way, it damages the liver and kidneys and that. Joni said, yeah, all products have, all pharmaceuticals have side effects. I said, side effect? That'll kill you. There's a class action lawsuit against the maker of Geodone for that, or Geodon, or Zyprazidone. Anyway, the dopamine blocking action that blocks the reward center, the learning center of the brain. So when Jesus helped me, when he gave me his Holy Spirit and a love for the truth, he helped me to realize all I actually needed was to be born again, and I didn't need all the drugs, legal and illegal. It worked out for me. I'm not necessarily providing any medical advice, or am I? It's more of life choices. You know, there are people that I could totally be a diabetic if I just ate junk food all the time, right? And sat with a channel changer and just vegged out in front of a mind control box. I don't want that. That's not what I'm about. I'm trying to find out what the tides are going to be. It's not registering. It says I'm connected. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, oh, this will be even a little funnier. Come on. Come on, connect. Go ahead. It's not doing it. So what I'll do is I'll just, it'll illustrate it. Come on. Come on, connect. Go ahead. And it's being a little stubborn. It says it shows I'm connected. Okay, let's go back. Come on. Going to a different school. Well, this is a bit frustrating for me. Yeah, there's the big hobbit feet right there. Huh, I can't leave a footprint now. Maybe if I do this. Yeah, something like that. Water seeking its level. It's just what it does. Do you think Australia has downspouts with water going the opposite direction? No, I don't think so. I hope you don't. Hi, Dean. Hi, Frank. Yeah, they're wondering what the heck's going on here. I'm back early. Okay. We're connected now. Hi, kitties. Okay, here are the numbers. Oh, the moonrise is at, let me see if I can show you. 8:13. What's the percentage? It's going to be a 3% rise and a 9%. Oh, let's see.
He was a good man, full of the Holy
Yeah,
Spirit,
9%.
and a great number of people were brought to the Lord.
Yep.
Barnabas went to Tarsus to look for Saul, and when he found him, he brought him to Antioch. So for a whole year, Barnabas and Saul
Hey, Dean. I don't think we're going to see much evaporation happen from there now. I make some pretty strong coffee. I like that. That's okay. So these are these are Joni's glasses. She needed to get a new pair of glasses. I have a pair of Ray-Ban. You can see them. They're prescription Ray-Ban glasses. They're pretty cool looking. It's one of my profile pictures. It's got a lot of likes on it. But the issue is I don't wear glasses anymore to modify my perspective. The perspective that's been modified most effectively is the eternal perspective. I see beyond the difficulty of this life and look towards eternity and live my life in such a way that that's the primary focus of what I'm about. If I stayed in there very long, and I want to try and keep my equipment at a even temperature, but I got the info that I wanted. See the board that I got from the Coastal Preserve, it was underneath there. It just floated up there. That's kind of what happens. I mean, you know, if I look at it kind of like Castaway. Remember Tom Hanks, the Masonic actor on Castaway and Apollo 13 and that? He missed the need to be born again on that island. Evidently, he worked for Federal Express, you know, in the show, and he never saw his need to find God in all of that. You know, at that point in human history, as an executive for Federal Express, do you think he should know your world on time? On time? I'm out of time, baby. I'm out of time. I'm not living in this time as the world understands it. I'm an eternal being with an awareness of that. Okay, so I understand. I have it says right now it's 7:43. Now the clock on the car, not so much. It's different than that. Why? Well, there's been an interruption in supply. Let's see, 7:43. So we'll just change that. There we go. Now, what I'm going to be able to do is kind of monitor this a little bit. I've got a power system. I've got the way to connect this to one of these if I need to. I can charge it with the car. You know, I got to show you. I want to show you a little something. Again, I haven't shown you before, so it's part of the deal. Is it a prop rod? Well, it used to be a golf club. Let me show you something with it. You know, Monty Python made fun of what do you do if you're attacked by a person with a banana? Well, that's kind of silly, but I could fend off an edged weapon with that Gulf, with my prop rod there, pretty decent. I did work on my terminals here, got them all cleaned up and tightened up really good. So hopefully that takes care of the issue. Maybe the battery just needs replacement. It's on a plastic pad that's nice and clean and tightened up good, so it's not connected. You know, even if this were sitting on a metal plate, it could discharge. It's on a non-conductive platform, so it should be okay. Here's my cooling system access. The water flows through the engine and then through piping that will climate control the inside of the vehicle. A little bit less with it opened up like that, right? I'll close that in a little bit. Right down there is the air conditioner compressor. This right here is the mass airflow sensor. It regulates the fuel and air mixture on the fuel injection system on with the computer measuring and metering and all that. Here's the power steering pump access. The fluid's right where it needs to be. All of that rotation there, that's really not going to affect the driving of the car much at all. I mean, it's not like the motorcycle. A motorcycle on two wheels has, with the gyroscopes, it's a bit different. The vertical V-twin going in the direction like that, it affects the handling of the bike different. On a jet ski with or a personal Sea-Doo, they've got a rotation. When I would hit the throttle on the jet ski that went over 51 miles an hour in 1982 as measured on radar, that's fast. That was a stand-up jet ski. It would have torque roll. It would actually, I had to lean way over to the left to stop the jet ski from corkscrewing right into the water. Yeah, I used to race those things. Right up here, we've got the twin fans to blow through the radiator and the air conditioning system component as well. So the shock absorbers that would hold up the hood are not functioning, but this functions really well. Like I showed you, if there was somebody that had a knife, this right here, I don't know if you can hear this. It moves really fast. Am I all freaked out that somebody, am I peeking through the windows seeing if anybody's out there? I'm not all freaked out about this. What I am wanting to say is I have some serious, did you see the movie Taken? Liam Neeson? I have a very set of special skills. I will find you and you can fill in the rest. Human trafficking, it's happening. It happens all around the world. We live in a place where a lot of pretty people come in vacation. It's something to be aware of. Target focused training is one of my liked videos. It's about 5 minutes long. think, or so. Tim Larkin does it. It's a lot smoother to get in and out with that there. Okay. So I would think that the fountain's probably, well, we'll see. I don't know when they turn the fountain on. Easier to see the car with the lights compared to the car without the lights, right? White car, white van is easier to see than a black van, depending on color contrasts and all that. Fountain's not on. So does any of this matter? You know, I'm actually covering a lot of material, and I get that. When my videos are long like this, you might think, what's the point? What's the deal? I basically want to let people know of the reality. Wow, that was a pretty quick pull out there on that. I'm going the speed limit, but I think they're going to want to exceed that. One of the neighbor cuties in a little Jeep. Let's see what we can put out here. I come to a complete stop. Yeah, that was probably ticket worthy. I would probably get a ticket for that. But it's a wet tire and I wasn't really moving that fast. It's kind of funny. I hope you could hear that. Yeah, the car is powerful. I like to use the super unleaded. It stops the pinging. It's a higher octane, so it's for a higher performance engine. Now, when I had the diesel Volkswagen, oh, I'll get the look. I'll get the look, I'm sure. Let's see. Nope, not getting the look. That's okay. I'm having fun with this. Having fun making fun of flat earthers. Isn't it funny to just make fun of other people? You know, I don't mind it. I don't mind that he's doing that. Speaking of PewDiePie. What a name for a channel anyway. But the idea with all of this is that I am constrained to expose the truth with all this. So yeah, this is all impossible on a globe. We're not upside down. Nobody's upside down in relationship to other people unless they're on an inversion table or something like that. Trying to push me. Yeah, not going to be pushed around. Oh wow, now he's exiting. Wow, that was wild. He was in the left lane and just exited. That was wild. I don't know if you could see that. That's one of the South Carolina help vehicles there. Roadside assistance as a courtesy. This is a very wonderful place. I really enjoy living here. I'm handing out invitations for people to come and visit and stay if you're able to. We all have a certain amount of vulnerability, and my vulnerability has been largely reduced in the context of eternity. My soul is secure in Christ. So what happens to my Earth suit is of little significance eternally. I'm not wanting to do something ridiculously reckless. Not at all. Oh, what I was talking about, the diesel Volkswagen, I had it modified at a race car modification center in Charleston, a European race car modifier. I mean, there were $300,000 cars in his shop. He worked on my car and installed a computer modification that gave me, I believe it was 350 foot-pounds of torque, and the original engine had about 119. It was a Volkswagen TDI Passat with an automatic transmission. They didn't do well. The standard transmission did a lot better. However, I averaged 55 miles per gallon from coast to coast, ignoring the 650 miles of curvature, which would be over a 30% grade. When I got to the mountains, it was 5 to 7% grade. My fuel economy dropped into the teens. Now, it's very likely that there's going to be a speed monitoring on between here where I left and the beach. That car that passed me, that's about a $300 ticket. A lot of times the law enforcement is at on the other side of the waterway. I see them there a few times a week, a motorcycle or a squad car, ready to remind people to obey the speed limits. I do. I am. I can pan my camera and not turn the steering wheel. Why would I do that? Why would I turn the steering wheel when I'm just turning the camera? That's the waterway, intracoastal waterway. It runs along the coast here. It's affected by the tidal activity. I've got a friend who lived, Randy from Aloha. Shout out to Randy Duke of Aloha Water Sports. He used to live and work and work with parasailing in Hawaii and more. And I said, Randy, was there much tidal activity in Hawaii? He said, no, not noticeable. Yeah, they're on an island, a rather small island. North America is pretty big, and we've got a lot of, we've got South America connected through the canal system and all of that. So there's actually tidal activity here. And then there's quite a bit of tidal activity variance in that up in Canada. The Bay of Fundy has tidal activity, I've been told, of up to like 45 feet of tidal activity. Here we have anywhere from 3 to 7 feet normally. Hurricane Matthew gave us a storm surge that was like 13, 14 feet. It covered the tops of over the top of the road here, the railing out at the coastal preserve I'm taking us to. There's the new Bolanos that has the backup power generating system that I fueled up in yesterday. That's probably 3 miles an hour over. That would get a ticket. I see that happening. I've been on a live broadcast where I saw a vehicle like that get pulled over, and I saw it coming, and it happened. It's just, it doesn't, speeding doesn't mean, like Joni says, I'm in a hurry, I've got a lot to do. I've got a pretty busy schedule, It's pretty random though. I've got a lot of flexibility with it. It's no reason for me to exceed the speed limit. I just want to help illustrate how ridiculous it is speeding. The exposure to an interaction with law enforcement and a reminder of several $100s that I should go the speed limit. Why would I do that? Doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense. I think what I'm going to do is take us down to the ocean first. I want to stick my feet in the ocean. And there should be parking available down here right now. This is the end of Sea Mountain Highway. Oh, there's the little Fiat that, oh, the dogs are in there. There they are. There's Shep. Hey Shep, you're live on YouTube, buddy. Oh, that's kind of funny. I used to buy vodka from him. Yeah, I don't need that anymore. He's a nice guy. He owns the business there. Okay, that's my parking spot right there. That'll work for me. It's Bike Week. Hey, there's some pretty good waves out there. I'll bet they're surfing down at the pier right now. Upside down surfers, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, there's my sore toe. I don't mind taking one for the team. That's going to be kind of funny. I want to check that out. This is also a sound check. There's probably a wind coming in from the south at probably about 10 miles an hour, 10 to 15. Yeah, it fills it in really good, doesn't it? So this is supposed to take the, yeah, it looks like it's got some sand in there too. Imagine that. But that's where I have my motorcycle running in a puddle that was a lot bigger than that, with the back wheel spinning and the water flying off of it, illustrating that point. Wow. I wonder if we're going to get fencing on that. Maybe. I don't know. It'll make access a little bit awkward. Yep. The water seeks its level. That's just what it does. Impossible on a globe. Toilets upside down. The stink water all being held in place. Not happening. Doesn't need to happen, folks. It's a ridiculous assertion that people are upside down in relationship to one another. That's what I want to take the time to show you, how absurd that actually is. If it's hard for you to watch an upside down video for a long time, I understand. I don't even know what that's going to look like. I've never done it like this. Good morning. Yeah, I've got a little bit of a hitch in my get along. My toe is a bit sore. I don't think I broke it. I think I sprained it. Pulled a muscle, a tendon. A tendon, yeah, stretched it. I'm not going to put any drugs on it. I'm actually going to step in the ocean. From what I understand, grounding out, being grounded will reduce a little bit of inflammation. And I'm going to walk right in the ocean and see if that helps a little bit. I know it's going to send some, it's going to make my feet happy. Yeah, we can see the texture because of the rain, and then the change of that because of the wave that came in, right? It's just what it does. Oh man, that feels awesome. Yeah, that's impossible on a globe. Spinning over 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. 1,038.5 miles an hour at the equator, I understand that's what it is. The supposed diameter of the globe is 24,990 or something like that. Just under 25,000. 8 inches per mile squared is the spherical trigonometry we're supposed to see. Earthcurvature.com is the website that has a calculator. You can type in 2,300 miles, which is the distance from here to Long Beach, California, about. And that would mean there's a hump in the middle of the country, or there's curvature, you know, from low point to low point of 650 miles, apparently. It's not happening, not at all. No curve. The x-axis is the horizon left to right, and it's horizontal. We're at sea level. Do you see level? How's that? Is that a little bit better? Yeah, I'm not done with you yet. Oh, how about that? Does that work any better? Somewhere at the equator, the imaginary equator? How about tilting, wobbling? How about any of that? Does any of that make any sense to any of you? I get detractors that one of them said to me, I'm an idiot. I left the comment up. It's the one that shows the thumbnail of the clam bed. It looks really cool. It's a video I did out there. I believe it's called Sea Level. I've got a lot of them like that. Sea Level. Okay, so the slant, the building is vertical, and the sand is sloped, obviously, or the water would be going a lot further in. And the reflections of the buildings are slanted. I know PewDiePie is making fun of Tequila, making fun of her, talking about all the buildings would have a slight tilt to them. She's right. That's true. Making fun of her. Oh well. Hey, good morning, man. You're on a live YouTube broadcast. If you want to check it out later, here's my card, and here's my Facebook card. I'm Robert Forsch, by the way. Hey, Ryan? Ryan, where are you from? All right, well, welcome. What do you do up there? Oh, nice, nice. Excellent, Ryan. Feel free to message me if you, or call anytime if you like. So I wasn't going to just run up and hand him my card. He actually acknowledged me and spoke first. You know, I waved to him first, but he said something, so I'll bring the card over to him, and yeah. It's all kind of interesting. I can see birds from a long ways away, miles away, like an eagle. I can see when people come out on a balcony and in that. A lot of people out this morning on balconies, walking on the beach. It's absolutely gorgeous. Good morning. I've got a little more coffee in the car. I might have that. Yeah, I have enough coffee. Some call that a drug, caffeine a drug. Well, maybe by definition it is. I'm good with it. I don't have a problem with that, just so you know. I remember sitting here getting loaded in the dunes. Yeah, alcohol, drugs. Yeah, I don't need that anymore. That is so awesome. Talk about less complication in my life, big time. Yeah, I got to walk with my toe up a little bit. It's a little inflamed, feels a little better than it did though. You know, we can see where the little path followed right on over here to the drain. All those clues are there, all around. The clues that it's bike week is all the bikes in the lot. Hey, bikers, welcome. Good to see y'all. I'm a biker too, just so you know. Yeah. Have any of you ever been up to the Harley Davidson factory in Wisconsin? Yeah, I met Willie G. He talked about the V-Rod, how he developed that. We were on a tour there. If you want to see any of this and yourselves laughing, waving, or frowning, whatever you want to see, you're on YouTube Live right now, upside down. Now, I'm going to flip it right side up, and I'm just going to make a brief announcement. We don't live on a globe. We didn't go to the moon. Now, yeah, there you go. And we didn't come from monkeys. And I've got plenty of content to back up what I just said on my profile. YouTube Eternal Perspective if you like, or make believe this never friggin' happened. Whichever you prefer. You know what? When I was born again, Jesus set me free from a life of drug addiction and more. So I had vodka for breakfast, baby. I know how that works. I know how to smoke in the shower. You ever done that? You ever been so freaking addicted to Camel Straights you gotta gag them down in the shower? Well, I did. Pall Malls were, well, you get more, but you got a filter on that. Can't you get a filterless Pall Mall? I used to break the filters off my grandmother's cigarettes when I was jonesing. Hey, thanks for not all of you running away. It's okay, I don't mind. I'll be heading on down the road there. Maybe going to Merle's Inlet, seeing a little something interesting, right? Oh yeah, I know how to do that. I used to race professional level motocross. I can ride bikes super fast. That's part of the pedigree, part of what you're dealing with. It's not natural, it's supernatural. Peace. I don't know how much more I'm going to do that kind of thing, but it was kind of funny, wasn't it? See, you know, it's kind of interesting because people don't know quite what to do with that. Some might want to say, call the cops on that guy. Well, I'm not riding dirty. And I'm not upset with anybody for not being happy to hear what I had to say. I get that. But the gentleman that had the Busch beer, he was pretty cool. Actually, a lot of them were pretty cool. I'm good with all that. If people could have what I have, I think they might like it. It's not for everybody. Not everybody is going to be born of God's Spirit. It's just not going to happen. For illustrative purposes, but wait, there's more. There's a lot more, actually. I got a little surprise for this group here. I think right about here. So what I'm going to do is flip this around. I could do it differently, but I think the camera angle that I'm looking for is going to be a little bit better this way. I know Tracy, the owner of the Pelican here, I don't reckon he's going to come out and chase me away, but this should be kind of interesting. That'll help you to see the Porta units. Oh man, we got a lot going on right there. So not everybody is a fan. But I'll tell you what, it's kind of interesting. Let's, you know, I put a lot of bubbles over the top of the car. Only a couple of them actually popped on the car, and they rinse right off. It's no big deal. And there they are. They'll never forget that. Or maybe they will. I don't know. Not sure. I'm not in charge of the response. Did that ridiculous? I don't know. Not to me. Part of the idea of the bubbles is it's absolutely so out of context for what people would normally see that it leaves a lasting impression on their mind. Some of the people smiling, actually that was pretty cool. And playing with the bubbles, like I said, I've seen people of all ages and backgrounds and groups playing in the bubbles, enjoying them, photographing them, all of that. So I'm not embarrassed by that at all. So if they want to chop up content that I've got and make Flat Earth look ridiculous, they don't need my help. There's plenty of ridiculous perspectives that people hold to that is not in relationship to reality. And then there's a lot of mystery about all this. There's a lot of mystery in how this all actually works. So what I typically do is give people plenty of time to walk across. I yield to pedestrians, all of that. I'm not going to be causing trouble that way. You know, I don't really know that. Oh, let's see. Is the parking lot open? Yeah, it's not I don't need to go out there right now. I don't see any surfers happening. Take us right to the coastal preserve. Now we do have the upside down puddles there, right? Upside down joggers, impossible on a globe, right? People in Australia sitting on a porch upside down having breakfast, beer for breakfast. Not everybody was. I've done that. I've had beer for breakfast, vodka for breakfast. Yeah, that's what alcoholics. I'm not saying he was an alcoholic. I don't know. I certainly had the profile of an alcoholic, drug addict, and more. Oh, we've got law enforcement in here. How nice. Cool. There we've got the beautiful reflections. The upside down dead end in the middle of the view with the no turnaround. I think I'm going to want to put the squad car in the shot, maybe a little bit. think what I'm going to do is turn around for this, actually. And I'm looking at my my spot. Yep, I think I know where I want to be. Yeah, I don't know that I lost my broadcast. I hit a button I didn't want to. With the life-proof case on, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit interesting. So one of the things that I wanted to do is to basically leave the broadcast going, and I'm going to close up the port on the charging port, so I've got a completely waterproof device now. And let's see, I think I'm good. Just want to take us on out there a little ways. Not really, I don't need to go that far. So one of the things that we can do, that I will do, because of the the wind direction and the color spectrums and all of that. The wind is coming from the south, right over in the middle of the view. And this is probably a good spot right here to showcase a couple of things. The clues are all around. So I've had people say, wow, it must be nice to go to the beach and blow bubbles and talk to people about Jesus and that. And one of the things that I would simply say is, would you do what I'm doing if you could? And it isn't, oh, look at me. It's, well, if you like a concept of ministry or different pieces of what I'm doing, go right ahead and do whatever you believe Jesus wants you to. That's pretty much what I'll end up doing with that. There's quite a bit of wind turbulence. So part of the dynamic is making the bubbles, as in where I allow the bubble wand to make the bubble, and then there's moving them, making them and moving them. And that's kind of like when there's a lot of turbulence. It's pretty interesting. I can see the yellow, the rag in the bubbles, the light spectrum, it's bouncing off of there. So with the bubbles and the rainbow in my room and the firmament and the rainbows that we get when it rains and all of that, some of those clues are present at different times. They're not always there. And I don't get the photography that I take by, just keeping the camera in its case or in the house. I've got to take it out and do what I do with it. That's part of the dynamic. Now, because of the shape of all of this and the wind direction, there's going to be quite a bit of turbulence, and then the color contrast should be beautiful. The diffused lighting and the turbulence is part of what I'm illustrating. Changed life in Christ. I thought I was born again until I actually was. I believe Jesus wanted me to blow bubbles and talk to people and take pictures and tell them the truth. That's what this is all about. Some people like it, some not so much, right? That's just what it is. It's not it's not necessarily the way I want it to be. Did I want for the motorcycle group to just give me a standing ovation? Was I expecting that? No, no way, no way. I know that for a large part of the people that are, well, with the symphony of humanity, there's a lot of addiction and lifestyles going on. We know that. Self-righteousness and self-effort is prideful and an addiction, and it's fleshy, and it's ultimately played out will end somebody in hell. The righteousness that I have is the righteousness of Christ. It's not my own. I didn't work it up. He didn't look down at humanity and say, oh, there's a good one, that Robert, I'm going to give him my Holy Spirit. I was conceived in his mind before the foundation of the world, as best I understand how this works, as is all of his children. I don't know who God's children and Satan's children are exactly, because there's a mix of behavior and deception that's basically covering the face of the earth and humanity. So a yes is what I would like to see. I would like to see people say, yeah, I would like to be born again. I would like to walk with Jesus. That's what I want to see. I would like to be set free from addiction. And I would say, well, you know, that may happen for you. That's what happened with me. So in the context of a lot of what I do, I simply say, this is what happened to me, and it may happen for you too. I don't know. I really don't have a way of knowing, and I don't know for sure who is or isn't actually born of God's Spirit. That's beyond my need to know, and it's beyond my awareness. I don't have that capacity to know that. See, the other practical dynamic of throwing a whole bunch of bubbles over this car is I can say, you know what, it doesn't hurt the paint, I know that. It's not that it just says it on the label. It's not toxic and not harmful at all. Won't mess up somebody's paint. Even on a $200,000 motorcycle, not gonna hurt it. And if somebody really got upset, I've got a spot-free water I could rinse it off with and do that if I needed to. I've only done that a couple of times. One of the other dynamics that I'll show you, let me bring this on by, is that the water is seeking its level out of the condenser on the, on the air conditioning system right now. Oh, sorry about the finger in the way there. So that trail of water came out of the moisture that was in the driver's compartment. Some of the moisture, I'm sure, from my body, my breathing, right? So those clues are all around us. What are we going to do with them? What are we going to do with the clues? Are we going to, let's see, I'm trying to see how I can hold this. That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I'll just leave it like that for a moment. I'm trying to fix up my my rig here. The darker the background, the prettier the contrast with the lighting. That all has a spiritual connotation as far as I'm concerned. The more decadent the world gets and the more the closer God's children walk obediently with Him, the more obvious the contrast is. I didn't work this up on my own. This is not a self-effort. This is simply me doing what I believe Jesus created me to do. So there gets to be a point where there's like a bubble that's in an airstream that's virtually not moving much up or down. It's just pretty in between, right? And then an air current, because of the draft over the top of the tree. The wind blows over, creates a draft. Do aerodynamics matter? Yeah, the shape of a car. What did they used to look like? Pretty boxy, yeah. More sleek is slipperier in the wind. It's all about the aerodynamics. You know, you might think the Lexus isn't that aerodynamic. It actually is, very much so. For a full-size car, it's a great deal. We got it for, you know, like $4,500 quite a few years ago. And it had, you know, like 135,000 miles. Put 100,000 miles on it, had to repair it a few times, put some tires on it. It's just the way it works, but it's a first-class car. Toyota, Lexus, that's quite a company. And we got it before it got Fukushima. Where are all the cars that supposedly got hit by radiation? You know, is that even on the Carfax? Yeah, this car got radiation in it. No, not this one. What about the cars that were in that area? Are any of them hot? I don't know. I haven't checked any of that stuff out with the Geiger counter, personally. Oh, just so my audience is aware, with the Life Proof case on, I even have far less visibility of any comments. I can typically see a comment went up. I just can't read it very good. Normally, and I don't get upset when people chat and comment on a live feed. That's all good. I have people that meet one another on my broadcast that you can chat back and forth, and I haven't found it necessary to block anybody. I don't know that I ever will. Even if somebody's hating on me or on others, you know, I haven't reviewed all the comments. If you think any of the viewers is a problem, you can let me know. I'm not aware of any at this point. So like right here is a bubble spot, but that'll rinse right off. We've got rain threatening. That'll just go away. A pack of cigarettes. You know, I used to take my cigarettes in brand new packs and rip them open, fill them up with water, and throw them away. Yeah, these would be hard to light and smoke, but I'm just going to throw them away anyway. I think it illustrates a really good point, and I'm gonna actually draw one out and take a look at it. The nastiness of what's in this, the chemicals, that's a far better place for it. Not buying those and smoking them in my life today at 3-pack a day with this, that's how much I used to smoke. 3 packs of Pall Mall regulars a day is what I used to smoke when I met my wife, Joni. And I remember going to a dentist appointment before work in California under the influence of probably 12 ounces of vodka. Yeah, and then go to work. What the heck, right? Well, I'm free from all that. I know other people that have been set free from drugs and alcohol, and for me, I just have a real passion, purpose, and an eternal perspective to help people realize that if you're a child of God, you've accepted Jesus as your Savior, you did all that, and you're struggling like I was with that kind of activity, well, there's a good possibility that you may not be born again, just like I was not born again when I was living like that. Is that what Jesus said I should do? He said, no, don't be drunk with wine, but be filled with the Spirit. You know, his word, whether it's one of the apostles or one of the scribes that wrote whoever the individual was that put the words on the paper and scrolls and all of that, ultimately Jesus is the living word. He's the author of Scripture. The seagulls will come and check out the bubbles. They want to know what's going on, too. We'll see a whole bunch of different turbulence here. I can illustrate this right here. There's nobody to irritate and nobody to make smile either right here. However, worldwide, no telling where this will go and how far it will go. You know, the bubbles in where I am right now, I've had people tell me they've gone up to a half a mile away from where I made them, and yet they can travel around the world and do right now. You're looking at a changed life, a new man. Now you're looking at the new man. See, and then the behavior and activity, it's not based on I'm not taking a survey of who likes it or doesn't. I just do what I believe Jesus wants, and everybody else can respectfully deal with that. That's how I roll with that. I'm not trying to be irritating or an irritant intentionally. I understand. Have you ever seen somebody that's just grumpy and oh wow, you know, you're a little too happy in the morning? Yeah, okay. I get that. A little too happy for you. Like if I act like I'm all bummed out, does that make you feel any better? Not you. I'm sure you're fine. Still has the jasmine fragrance. So I've never held the camera like this. Let me just show you. I'm just taking it and pinching it on the edge of that bubble wand. This bubble wand I bought from Big Lots. Cut the sword handle off, put a counterbalance of a quarter in there and shoe glued it. So I get a better grip and weight and all of that for the way I make the bubbles. See here, it's getting pretty calm. Yeah, I've slept in places like this. I'm glad to not do that now. I mean, some people go camping and that's all kind of nice. However, when it's rainy and cold, you want to have a nice, warm, climate-controlled, I do. Let's say I'm glad to have a nice climate-controlled environment to live in. The technology I have requires protection from the environment. I believe high tide was somewhere around 10:17. Now on earlier broadcasts, I actually lost the broadcast when I came down here. Now see, the sand is nice and soft here. Whoop, and the bubbles are flying out. The bubbles will bounce across the water like they are. You can see it. I could tell you, or I could show you. The structure here is obviously going to create aerodynamics, lift. So it's where I make them as well. And what's really interesting, when a gust of wind comes along and a whole bunch of bubbles can be made in a hurry by you know, changing the direction of the wand. So in an instant, I can make a whole bunch of bubbles really fast, and then they can fill an area. Or I can just put the wand in the container, and that'll be it. Put the plug in the jug. Bubbles are a lot less expensive than heroin, cocaine, and self-righteousness, and a life lived for deception and all of that. Would I put the bubble wand away if it meant I could get a brand new Tesla? No. If Elon Musk were to call me and say, hey, we've got a test for you. We're the richest 1% of the world, and we want to see if you're willing to compromise your integrity for $1 billion. I got $1 billion and a bright red Tesla, and you can have that if you put the bubble wand away. I would say, no, not doing it. Not unless I believe Jesus wanted me to stop bubbling and Bibling, Bible.com and Eternal Perspective. See, if I were to compromise my integrity, it would all go away, right? As best I can tell, that's how it would happen. Would I compromise my integrity for a little trip to the to the pleasure center of the flesh? No, not going to do it. And the flesh is, it's not just plumbing and padding, as in physiology. The flesh is human effort. I don't want to do anything in my own thinking or my own flesh or creativity apart from God. What I want to do is cooperate to do what He created me to do, to step into the reality that He's wanting me to show the world, to show people. Like I've said before, it's like the opposite of the Truman Show. I'm not on a movie set like Truman, unaware. What I'm wanting to show people that are largely unaware of the reality that we actually live in. Water goes down unless it's evaporating, and then it moves around and will condense on a cooler surface. That's just what it does. Good morning, ladies. And that technology of climate control, air conditioning, has all allowed population centers to grow in areas where previously it wouldn't. Like if we look in the desert in Nevada, we've got gambling empires and money laundering of organized crime that developed largely because there was air conditioning. And then we're expecting 20 million people in the Myrtle Beach Grand Strand area in 2018. Some of them are going to go to do family type times, reunions together, priceless memories, horse rides on the beach, golfing and all that type of thing, and more. Some of the behavior is going to be very unbiblical. And I don't need to go into an explanation of what all that is. Many of you are aware of what that unbiblical kind of behavior would be. So I'll simply interject a bit of reality into the discussion. Yeah, with an upside down broadcast. Okay, so here we've got bubbles landing and looking like, well, like the dome, like the firmament. But the firmament is like a molten glass. You can look at the biblical references. Evidently able to support a massive amount of water. How thick would it be? Well, when we lived in Wisconsin, I drove a car on water that froze ice that was over 3 feet thick. And that would support a car. How thick would a dome be that supports a massive amount of water up above us? However thick it needs to be, right? So I don't know if exactly the dome is more than ice. It could be glass, could be a molten glass. It could be glass and ice and all of that. Yeah, I got a little swelling on my toe. That's okay. No big deal. Oh, the pattern of the collected marsh grass is a bit different than yesterday. However, we can see that it rained and moved around a bunch of sand. That's just what it'll do. I mean, I could take a leaf blower and try and move some of that sand, it wouldn't want to move. I could take a little bit of water and it would move right away. That's just what it does. Where are all the building reflections? Well, they're in our memories. Those of you who have seen this before, we can't see it now. Good day, ladies. If you want to see yourselves pedaling away on YouTube, Eternal Perspective is my channel. All right, have a good one. So I'm not for sale. I'm not for sale. I will not be compromised by money, prestige, none of that. Only by God's grace could I even make such a claim. He didn't create me to, He didn't create me for that. He created me to display new life in Him, to expose lies that need to be exposed. The enslavement of humanity through drugs and a false reality and computer-generated fake imagery and all of that. I'm exposing it. I'm exposing it all. If you think I missed any of it, on my liked video playlist, if you've got a link you want to send me, something you want me to be aware of, you can go to the About on my YouTube channel, and you can send me a private message. robertforsch@gmail.com is my Gmail account. For bigger quantities, you just should private message me or call me on the phone and let me know I've got an email to look at, because I've got 150,000 emails I haven't read. I probably never will. I'm okay with that. A lot of times with each notification I get on Facebook is converted into an email. Evidently, the system doesn't have a problem generating that. There isn't some person sitting behind a keyboard that does that. It's computer generated, all of that. That's when you think about that, and I think I'm probably at probably well over 100,000 notifications on my Facebook activity. Well over that. And then there's the YouTube activity. I don't have that many views on my channel itself, and I'm sure that'll change. And I don't even know how accurate the projected views is, or the estimated views actually is. Those numbers can be changed very easily. And I say that because right from this vantage point, I've shown this view and the title activity and broadcast from the Gospel of John to Revelation, I believe. It might be in a couple of segments. It might have gotten or might have had a disruption in the broadcast. I'm seeing bubbles go as far as those trees that you're looking at right now. That's amazing to me. So the water will keep coming in. That's just what it'll do. It comes in, it comes out, up, all of that. So, you know, as best I can tell, you know, all of these experiences that I'm able to feel and register the wind on my face or on my back, the sound I'm able to hear from the birds, the fragrances from the flowers and the fresh air and the clean air that's coming in off of the ocean, as best I can tell. I mean, it's pretty fresh and clean. I've got a I'm kind of like the canary, not the canary in the coal mine. I'm very, very well aware of when there are toxic chemicals around. It got very still right here, right there. So let's see what I can do with a couple of bubbles right there. Like I said, are there market applications for the bubbles? Well, if you want to see where air currents are, that's a big deal. A fueling station, when a transport for gasoline drops 500 gallons of fuel per minute and recovers 500 gallons of vapor per minute correspondingly, because they've got a circulation system where the gas goes out, the vapor goes back in. That's one of the dynamics that allows such an efficient transfer of fuel. Yeah, well, what is that? It's a lot of opportunity. If that were to just go out in the atmosphere, if it finds an ignition source, it'll explode, much like the compressed atmosphere and gas vapor in my engine. Will it work? When I get there, will the car start? Will the engine turn on? Well, I believe it will. I believe it will. There's knowing and believing. So I'll know that it actually worked when I get there and do it. Knowing isn't actually superior to believing, it's just different. I believe I'm born again, as best I can tell. The difference before I was born again and after is so different. It was evidence that demanded an answer. I actually had a question that needed to be answered. If I was truly born of God's Spirit, why was I struggling so much with sin? Okay, so we've got an appropriate lens placement. Impossible on a globe. I don't believe this is illegal. If anybody has an awareness, is this illegal? Let me know. I don't believe it is. I definitely want to get people's attention. I want them to know that what I just did would be impossible on a globe. When the unit like this, look at how still that got. Yeah. It's perfectly flat. And, well, mostly. And they'll come and take it away. There's another company called Elvis. Thank you very much. What happened with Elvis? Did he sell his soul for rock and roll, fame, fortune? I believe he did die a drug addict. Was he satisfied in life? I don't think so. I don't think so. Did he do some gospel albums? Yeah, he did some gospel albums. Does that mean he's in heaven? No. He needed to be born of God's Spirit to even see it. Did that happen? I'm not sure. I don't know. What I believe about it doesn't change his location, destination, or the reality of any of that. What it simply is an observation that one of the most recognized names in the world, Elvis, well, where is he? I don't know. I don't know. I can't know. So as per usual, I'll do what I normally do. Oh. How about that? How about that? Okay, going back. So like this EPS, expanded polystyrene, will off-gas a bit. All of the vinyls, plastics, and stuff has a bit of off-gassing that it does. Am I all freaked out about it? No, not freaked out about it. I just put a bunch of fresh air in here and I'm good to go. The wind will clean this out like a straw. The wind will blow through it. It's all good. Takes me a moment to do this. It's time well spent as far as I'm concerned. There's the Harris tweed coat from the convention. Yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the guy with the coat. That's that bird right there. Isn't he cool? Wow. It just feels a little better with the car locked. Oh, I gotta throw my charger on. Now I wouldn't have been able to really do much of that with if I had the charger with me and a different rig to support all that. Now we know it works, right? This is a tachometer on the left. It redlines at a little over 6,000 RPM. My Honda motorcycle redlines at over 9,500 RPM. That's really fast. It's got a 6-speed transmission, and it's plenty quick enough. No matter how quick the engine is, the reaction time when I coordinate an acceleration, having the right RPMs and letting the clutch out, that's all the stuff of that racers do. That's what I've done. I could still do that. I could take a Tesla Roadster, never driven one before. I could take one around Elkhart Lake really fast. First time driving, and if I had a day to do it, I could be very quick around that track. I know that. Am I bragging? It's just a reality. It's just the way that is. Okay, so what am I going to show you now? Water seeking its level? Okay. Remember, I said that could save somebody's eyesight. Would I, my dad got he got lye in his eye, which would have blinded him when he was working with plaster when he was 19 years old. Would he have met my mother at the rail in Oshkosh, Wisconsin? It's a bar. Would he have met her there, blind, with his little red-tipped cane? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. What would happen? Somebody knew to take a mouthful of water, hold his eye open, and squirt water into it. Now you know. That's a Bill Nye thing. He says, now you know. I'm not a Bill Nye fan. I would like to see him born again and totally expose how he's been a puppet for the New World Order and Satan. However, keep in mind, Satan uses who and what he can. God uses it all, including Satan, Bill Nye, fallen angels, Neil deGrasse Tyson, the Rothschilds, Bill Gates. It's hard to even, I can't even quite get my head around it all. What I would simply say is, well, what? Like I'm not done. I'm not even close to done yet. Or am I? I don't know. I talk about this from time to time. I'll talk about it again. These two cylinders look about the same. Very similar. This one is warm all the way. This one is only warm up here. When I was in Wisconsin almost a year ago, I met a good friend, Jay, had breakfast with him. He gave me a wristband to go to the EAA. He's an air traffic controller, really class act quality guy. He bought a camera like this because of me, he said. He saw the work that I did. How many other people like that are there? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, to go back to that, when I was there for that visit, this fell out of my back pocket. I went for the EAA. When it actually happened, I was at the Life Fest in Oshkosh, right close to the EAA, and there was a storm coming in. There were some really wild looking clouds. There was tornadic activity in the area. It was bizarre looking, really bizarre. Well, I went running and this fell out of my pocket, my back pocket. When it hit the ground, it obviously ruptured the vacuum that separates the outside from the inside. I'll tell you where I'm going with this. We're talking a vacuum, from what I understand, a propeller would not work in a vacuum. Very little temperature transfer happens in a vacuum. You maybe have a vacuum bottle too. Boy, all this talking, I think I need a little more coffee. Now, the temperature that was is quite a bit cooler than this, although it's warm. This would be hot enough to burn my esophagus. Do I want that? No, of course not. So this is also impossible on a globe. A lot of people that believe the globe don't realize that supposedly we're spinning over 1,000 miles an hour and wobbling, and yeah, it's actually an oblique spheroid. And what about the mic drop? This is gravity. No, it's not. It's the difference in density and mass. Yeah, I'm making fun of Neil deGrasse. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah, bring it on, Neil. Would you and your big mustache want to debate me? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think they're going to allow that. They don't need to. They don't need to. They would just say, we've got a crazy guy blowing bubbles and exposing the New World Order, the Illuminati, and the fallen angels and artificial intelligence and the NASA fake program, fake space. We got some fruitcake telling the truth about our deal. So what about Jesus, who outed the religious leaders of his day running their Ponzi scheme on humanity? They thought they were his children. And here's what Jesus said to them. You can't hear me because you're of your father, the devil. When that resonated, when that finally reverberated into my soul and I realized that Satan has children, God has children, and people will be born again by hearing God's word. It happened to me by His grace. He gave me a love for the truth, His Holy Spirit, new life in Him, took away the fear of what will people think. What's going to happen to me if I tell the truth? If I expose the truth? When I was early on in my coming off of pharmaceuticals and other drugs, legal and illegal, I was still kind of timid about that. Timid as in, well, I wasn't real vocal about exposing a lot of this, and quite frankly, I didn't even realize for a half a year or so after I was born again that the globe was a lie. Once I became aware of that, I realized I had to do what God created me to do. Leverage instantaneous worldwide communications and the world system to expose the truth about all of this. And encourage others to do it too, if you're able. If your life circumstance allows you to do that, why wouldn't you? So like I said, I've had people comment on my video. I've got a wife that says, you don't have a schedule. You get to do what you want. Yeah, because Jesus put the want to do what He created me to do. I'm not a lazy guy. She thinks I'm a lazy guy. She says I'm a lazy guy. I said, no, you're not paying attention. Not lazy. Very efficient at what I do. We have enough resources to do what I need to do. I needed to buy another one of these. I'm not going to be without it willingly. If I didn't have the iPhone, I've got the iPod. Would that work? Yeah, in fact, I actually started broadcasting the Bible live. Oh yeah, is it an iPod and a mirror, or not? If I add light to it. Oh yeah, I've got a. It's interesting. One of my friends said, you have been recording upside down on YouTube all morning. Oh yeah. Intentionally. So the reason for that is to show how absurd it is to believe that people can live upside down in this world. It's impossible. Yeah, how about that? Seeing is believing. What? What do we see? What do we believe? You know what I think I'm going to do? I think it's about time to put things back right. That's what I'm going to do. We know it doesn't rain upside down. We know that water doesn't stick to a spinning ball. We know all that. So the question that I have, am I able to flip the camera over without losing the broadcast and taking the case off? How's that? Is that a little bit better? I think so. Some likes and still people watching. Cool. So what I'll do is close this up. This is, let's see, this is called the Life-Proof case. You know, it's funny. I was getting this ready for a submersible broadcast I did out at the inlet, took it underwater, and right here, this little lens popped out. It didn't hit my big hurt toe, but it did fall and hit my foot. And from where it hit my foot, I thought I would be able to figure out where it went in my messy garage. And what I ended up doing was taking a light from my phone, turning it on, and I could see the light reflect off of the polycarbonate little porthole that goes inside there. A waterproof case isn't waterproof with a hole in it, right? I couldn't do my broadcast like I wanted to with that happening. So it's a waterproof case now. That's how it works. So this is also a sound check to see what happens when I went ahead and took the case off, see how it sounds. I can see the monitor a lot better. That's helpful. This is the lens pen. It works really good. They have them at Walmart, Best Buy. You could probably get them on Amazon. The reflections are all different, where it's calm, obviously, or more calm. So this road says no turnaround under the dead end. I take that to mean there's not a actual turnaround paved, like a loop. Not that it's against the law. That's just how I see it. That right there, that red plug in about the middle of the shot, that could be a big deal if somebody needed to have a fire put out. I'm sure the water would come quickly from a water tower. Okay, so in the middle of the view, there's little droplets of water falling out of the atmosphere. They've collected, combined with one another, and now they're putting little ripples in the water, and it goes away really quick. How well can you see that? A lot of this has to do with the details. I don't think you'll be able to see that too good. Where can I find a nice little puddle without getting rained on? Well, I'm thinking it's right out there, but I don't want to just be parked out there. Oh, by the way, I wasn't upset with my friend telling me that the broadcast was upside down. That's totally cool. I'm gonna hobble on over there with my hobbit feet. So right here we've got the Prince Resort. We've got a lot of pictures of that. Because the water is so low, well, we're seeing a few ripples, not a whole lot. So part of the dynamic with the urban displays of reflections is simply to do this. I want people to realize that this type of dynamic happens all over the face of the earth. The water fills the low spot. Where's the low spot in the road? Well, there it is, right there. It was higher. Where did the water go that made the mark up there? Well, probably into the grass, into the ground, and on its way into the aquifers. So when we had Hurricane Matthew, the water covered the road up to, well, a little below the stop sign. Yeah, they wouldn't be driving like that. No. That is a pumping system they've got that could move massive amounts of water. Okay, so right here we've got a Deer Park floating plastic bottle, reflection, and a piece of bark, wood bark. Do you think the bark will fall through the atmosphere and float on the water? I think so. Let's do it right here. Make a few ripples, and there it's floating, right? As water reflects a man's face, God's word reflects the man. That's what I'm talking about here. I'm a changed man. I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. I'm not going to be intimidated, not going to be pushed around, and I'm not angry. I'm actually just very focused, very persistent, passionate, purposeful. Yeah, how about that? Yeah. Yeah, and that means that that means my device is still charging. Whoa, no, that's better. I'm in really good shape, better shape than ever. And that's part of the deal. Now, that's not just the physiology I'm talking about. If you think I'm all hung up with styling my own hair with the Flowbee and coconut oiling and exfoliating and, oh, look at me, what I'm saying is I can make healthy choices now because I'm not getting up and smoking pot in the middle of the night and drinking vodka for breakfast and smoking 3 packs of cigarettes and doing any of that stuff. Just so you know, pornography is a drug addiction. Fantasy is an addiction. It's a drug addiction. It's not limited to the candy for the flesh, the cotton candy for the flesh. It also encompasses the false reality that's being perpetrated on humanity in the form of fake trips to space and trips to Mars and the moon and all of that. It's all fake. It's not real. We didn't land on the moon. I've got evidence to prove that on my YouTube channel, Eternal Perspective. So what do you do with that? I'm going to have to turn around. I could do a Y-turn. That's what I'll do. Then I'm not doing that. I'm not doing a U-turn. I'll do a Y-turn. I guess a Y-turn's okay. Now it looks like almost a 20-mile-an-hour wind. My friend Gerald's, my friends Gerald and Jim will probably be out with their hydrofoil kite surfers today. That'll be a trip to see that. So on the hood of the car, we're seeing a convex reflection. It distorts the reality somewhat. Now the flat water shows us the actual reality. Planes flying upside down? No, it's not happening. Dipping their nose down? No, not happening. Don't need to do it. Leveling out. We're leveling out at 37,000 feet. We'll be arriving in LAX at about 9:57 p.m. Thanks for flying with blah, blah, blah. So kind of the idea, I've heard the leveling out before. I've heard that plenty of times. It's hard to fly with illegal drugs. Rock stars can do it. How do they do that when they know somebody's riding dirty? Some people die on planes with drugs, balloons of drugs exploding in their body. What a mess of humanity. Who's going to rescue me from this body of death? Thanks be to God through Jesus Christ our Lord. That's what I'm talking about. I've been rescued from this body of death. It's no longer I who live, it's Christ who lives through me. How does that even work? What happened to me? I'm not the me that I was. I would never want to go along for that ride anymore. I was tired of it. Tired of the pain. Is there still pain? Oh yeah. And flat water. Yeah, there's still difficulty. However, there's Jesus, and there's hope and love and peace and joy and all of that too. All of that too. And a lot of grumpy, deceived individuals that don't know that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. They're still trying to do their own thing. Doing their own thing. Listen, wearing this or that, doing this or that, thinking they're going to find joy and peace somewhere else. I tried it. Hedonism, the pursuit of pleasure. Tried it. Doesn't work for me. How about that? It's the way it's supposed to be, you know. So the reason why I won't take drugs is because I don't want to impair my perspective. I want my perspective to be efficiently and accurately reflecting reality. Not a distorted reality, not a computer programmed reality. I listen to the Bible a lot. Oh, let's do that. I'm going to show you in real time with my iPod. Let's see, what would I want to put on? Come on.
Chapter 7. After this, Jesus went around in Galilee,
purposely stayed away from Judea because the Jews.
Just back this up a little bit.
Chapter 1.
Come on. Here we go. I'm going to do this a little differently.
John chapter 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, but the darkness has not understood it. There came a man who was sent from God. His name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all men might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to every man was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet, to all who received him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. Children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision or a husband's will, but born of God. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. John testifies concerning him. He cries out, saying,
"This was he of whom I said, 'He who comes after me has surpassed me, because he was before me.'"
From the fullness of his grace we have all received one blessing after another. For the law was given through Moses. Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God, but God, the one and only, who is at the Father's side, has made him known. Now this was John's testimony when the Jews of Jerusalem sent priests and Levites to ask him who he was. He did not fail to confess, but confessed freely.
"I am not the Christ."
They asked him,
"Then who are you? Are you Elijah?"
He said,
"I am not."
"Are you the prophet?"
He answered,
"No."
Finally they said,
"Who are you? Give us an answer to take back to those who sent us. What do you say about yourself?"
John replied in the words of Isaiah the prophet,
"I am the voice of one calling in the desert. Make straight the way for the Lord."
Now some Pharisees who had been sent questioned him.
"Why then do you baptize if you were not the Christ, nor Elijah, nor the prophet?"
"I baptize with water,"
John replied,
"but among you stands one you do not know. He is the one who comes after me, the thongs of whose sandals I am not worthy to untie."
This all happened at Bethany on the other side of the Jordan, where John was baptizing. The next day, John saw Jesus coming toward him and said,
"Look, the Lamb of God, who takes away the sin of the world. This is the one I meant when I said, 'A man who comes after me has surpassed me, because he was before me.' I myself did not know him, but the reason I came baptizing with water was that he might be revealed to Israel."
Then John gave this testimony,
"I saw the Spirit come down from heaven as a dove and remain on him. I would not have known him, except that the one who sent me to baptize with water told me, 'The man on whom you see the Spirit come down and remain is he who will baptize with the Holy Spirit.' I have seen and I testify that this is the Son of God."
The next day, John was there again with two of his disciples. When he saw Jesus passing by, he said,
"Look, the Lamb of God."
When the two disciples heard him say this, they followed Jesus. Turning around, Jesus saw them following and asked, "What do you want?" They said,
"Rabbi,
which means teacher.
where are you staying?"
"Come," he replied, "and you will see."
Introduction to Revelation. The revelation of Jesus Christ. This last book of the Bible completes what God has chosen to reveal of the greatest story ever told. His plan to restore a planet in rebellion began in the first book of the Bible, Genesis. Then, chapter by chapter, through the story of the Scriptures, God pursued a relationship with Earth's rebels at great personal cost. He demonstrated his love for us by giving his one and only Son, Jesus Christ, in our place to offer amnesty and freedom to everyone who repents and believes in him, accepting his terms of forgiveness. This book of Revelation, this last of the inspired writings of the Bible, points to the consummation of the redemption story, foretelling the return of the resurrected Son, the rightful King, to the earth. Jesus suddenly returns as King to bring judgment on all who stubbornly and willfully refuse his gracious offer of forgiveness. He then gathers his loyal subjects into his kingdom, and Eden is restored forever. All of these concluding events, the people, the images, and the prophecies, were revealed in a vision and written down. The vision occurred off the coast of present-day Turkey on an island called Patmos. Most believe that John the Apostle received the vision of Revelation. John, who had been with Jesus from the beginning, also wrote the Gospel of John and 3 letters, which are called simply 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John. Notice how Jesus Christ is the center of the entire book. Jesus is seen as never before in the Bible as the King of Heaven. The book begins by describing John's vision from God as the revelation of Jesus Christ. Then, John records specific messages from Jesus to 7 churches in Asia Minor. Suddenly, the scene shifts to dramatic and majestic images, including the slain Lamb, Jesus Christ, who alone is worthy to be worshipped. Then a series of visions portray the future rise of evil and the Antichrist. Next, John describes the victory of Jesus, the King of Kings, the wedding celebration with Jesus and his bride, the final judgment on evil, and then the coming of a new heaven and a new earth. Revelation concludes with the promise of Christ's soon return. Then John prays, "Come, Lord Jesus." As you listen, follow the panorama of God's plan. Listen as Christ warns the churches about what blocks us from a relationship with him. Be full of hope, knowing that God is in control. Christ's ultimate victory is assured, and all who trust in him will be saved.